Another one, chatting all things Tottenham, we're second to none. Special guests every time, if it's win, lose or draw. The passion is high like Harry Kane when he scores. Or when Lloris makes a world-class save. We got Højbjerg running the mid every game. Settle down, stick around, share your thoughts with the panel. And make sure you're subscribing to the channel, cause...
Hello and welcome to another Hollie's Hotspurs live, where we once again talk about a defeat. And as you might see as well, it's just me and Tans that are standing. We're going to try and do this and get through it. I mean, it's going to be painful, but it is what it is. I mean, Chris Akabar with the great names here already. He says we hope we can discuss a win. I'm hoping that too. But with me tonight to try and dissect everything that went wrong rather than went right yesterday, I'm joined by Tans. Tans, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Can't say I was happy after yesterday's performance. Another shocking display from Spurs. Not looking forward to dabbling into that, but it's also going to be much needed therapy. But yeah, as always, it's a pleasure to be on.
Like, I really appreciate it, mate. Like I said, we're two people down, but it's all good. I mean, Tottenham away are here in the building. I'm giving you away. I'm not very happy tonight, as you can tell. But anyway, let's just dive straight in it. The fact that this is the fourth London derby we have lost once again. I mean, those being obviously Chelsea, Arsenal, Palace, and now West Ham. It's not great times. But I think before we even talk about anything else, I think it's got to be that goal we conceded, because we knew going into this game that West Ham with Cresswell are very good at set pieces. But it's like we didn't do our homework, Tans.
I mean, it seems that way, doesn't it? I just wonder what goes on in the training ground. I mean, we are terrible when it comes to set pieces anyway, but especially when you know West Ham are so good when it comes to set pieces. And Harry Kane for the goal, I actually saw the clip again today. It's actually disgraceful, to be honest. Him not marking his man. Yeah, it's not good enough. As I say, it's like we're not learning from our mistakes. And that's why, for me, you have to look at Nuno for that. But players definitely need to take responsibility for that performance. It was just a disgrace. What can I say?
That's exactly that. I mean, you've spoken about Harry Kane. He was an absolute plank. I mean, we could discuss everything else. I think obviously Reguilon giving away the corner in the first place, I don't think was really ideal. And then I know we're going to pick on Kane. We'll probably get into Kane into more detail. But the fact that we also saw Højbjerg and Skip, I think they ran into each other as well. It's just like a mismatch of everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Complete mismatch. The whole team just didn't perform in that game. But overall, I thought West Ham didn't need to be great yesterday. I actually thought it was a bit of a ball fest. I tweeted it. I think that first half, for me, I think it's the worst half of football I've seen this season. It's up there for me with one of the... It lacked a lot of quality for me. So that's what annoyed me a little bit more. It's the fact that, it was a cheeky little flick on goal that could have easily have been avoided. It just winds you up even more, doesn't it? It's just...
Where do you go from there? That's the thing, like you said, as well, watching that first, I'm thinking to myself, is anything going to happen? Like, I mean, I'll talk about, obviously, the Romero incident with, I think it was Fornals, obviously, where he's telling him to get up. And it was actually a decent tackle. But that actually livened the game up a little bit. It actually added a bit of spice.
It did. But, this is a player that's not been here that long, and he seems all geared up. Where's that passion from everybody else? Like, I honestly don't know what it is with Tottenham, but when I watch us, I'm so bored. We can't progress the ball very well. What is going on? We don't press. Like, our pressing is non-existent. We have no desire to win the ball back. West Ham, as I said, they didn't need to be great yesterday. I don't actually think West Ham were good. I've seen West Ham quite a lot this season, and that wasn't their best performance. But as I said, they didn't need to be. The lack of urgency for me is such an issue under Nuno for me. I know we played well in the first 3 games, but the lack of fight, like, this is a London derby. And this is a derby where it was only a year ago, I think last week, they drew 3-3 with us. We were 3-0 up after 83 minutes. You'd think they'd be up for it. Try and rectify some of the mistakes from that game. And yet again, it's just like, they don't care. So at this point, Hollie, I don't care anymore. I don't.
That's the thing. I mean, Kev here said it's the first time for him that he's not really feeling it. It's destroyed him that second half, and I think it destroyed us all because, like you said, there was no get up and go. It was just like, oh, here we go, let's roll over and let them take the 3 points off us, and it was a joke. I mean, Jonah here says with one senior striker. I mean, we've had this problem for so long with just one senior striker, with a striker that now also doesn't want to pull his weight, it seems. And I hate to obviously say all these things about Harry Kane, but something's got to give, surely, Tams, at this point.
Absolutely. I mean, for me, hindsight's a wonderful thing. I didn't want us to sell him willy-nilly. I think Daniel Levy was right to demand a certain amount of money for him because he's a top striker, one of the best. But you're looking at it now and you're thinking, he is so unmotivated. He doesn't want to be here at all. And I just think we would have been better off accepting the money from Man City, however much it was, 100 million, whatever it is, and getting a player that actually wants to be here. But as that comment just said, you know, we're not even in a position where we can drop him because the next person we can turn to is a 17-year-old Dane Scarlett. Like, it's actually laughable. It's laughable. How can we call ourselves a big club when we're having to look to a youngster in Dane Scarlett to pull his socks up and start for us, lead the line? It's ridiculous. Like, no other top club. Arsenal doesn't have that. Man City, I mean, they're Man City. They don't even need a bloody striker. Chelsea, Man United. We're a joke. It's actually a joke.
And that's the thing. It's the sad truth in a way. The fact that we've been saying that we need a second striker, a prolific one, or someone that can play with Harry Kane at the same time. It just hasn't happened. I mean, Tottenham away, big themselves up. Fans want Nuno out, but what manager wants to join us? This is the trouble that I have right now because it doesn't take a rocket scientist to say that I don't think Nuno's the man for the job. But I'm also sat here thinking, who on earth is going to want to take that over him? Because it's pretty much a death sentence if you come to Tottenham.
Hollie, you only have to look at the manager situation after we sacked Jose Mourinho. How many managers did we go through to get to Nuno? It just tells you everything you need to know. And that's why, for me, I'm just bored of saying the same old things about players. We all know Nuno's not good enough. I know Nuno's not good enough. I didn't want Nuno because I just think we hounded Jose Mourinho for the style of football, and you're bringing in a similar manager. I knew it wasn't going to work out. Nuno, unfortunately, is a bit of a puppet. He's a little bit deluded, if you ask me, some of the comments I've seen. The lack of substitutions, appalling, by the way. So, you know, it's just, where do we go from here? I don't know what manager would want to come to Spurs. I wouldn't want to come to Spurs. I wouldn't want to work with Daniel Levy. I wouldn't. No. It's just, it's poison. It really is a poison chalice at this stage.
And this is what we keep saying. I mean, every time we have these discussion stands, I feel like we always go back to the one thing, which is the root of all this evil, which is obviously the geezers in charge. And I know I've got the egghead behind me, but it's true. I mean, I don't know how much longer people can sit there and think it's got to be the manager, it's the players. But who are the people that employ these people? Like, that's the thing that really gets my goat.
Honestly, it's a cultural thing that's been set by Daniel Levy. And I think it's no surprise that, you know, players like Son, for example, I love Son. But, you know, even he's not turning up at the minute. You know, he wasn't great in that game. The whole team just looks deflated. And even Nuno, I think Nuno looks done already. Like after the third game, like since we've been losing these North London, he honestly looks like a broken man already. And I'm not surprised. He's probably thinking, I was 10th choice. Am I really motivated? Harry Kane doesn't want to be here. He wants to be winning trophies. It's a mess. Like, from top to bottom, it's a mess. And as I said, the manager situation, the way we dealt with that, embarrassing that we were just getting rejected left, right and centre. What does that tell you? And it's no surprise that we're seeing such awful performances on the pitch. It doesn't surprise me, Hollie. It really doesn't.
No, it's just, like you said, it's just embarrassing. It really is. I mean, oh, hang on. John has said, why is Nuno playing Dyer instead of Rodon and Tanganga? For me, I like that first. For me, I think it's because, obviously, I think Dyer is obviously we had this discussion the other week about his languages he can speak with Romero. But I think because Dyer's been here so long, which pains me to say, I think it's just he's trying to guide Romero, because I think Romero has really got something in him. We've just got to give him time. But I don't know about you, Tans. Would you rather see the likes of Rodon and Tanganga, or do you think they're just not cutting it at the back?
To be honest, not really. I don't think it makes that much of a difference. I mean, I think Dyer is a walking mistake, by the way. I mean, the Newcastle game just tells you everything you need to know about Eric Dyer. Eric Dyer can have a really good game for 80 minutes, but you know he can do something stupid that will cost us. That is Eric Dyer in a nutshell. But do I think Rodon is that much better? From what I've seen of him, I think he's shown good. He's been good at times, but again, I just don't think he's the answer. Tanganga as well. I do like Tanganga. Maybe we could try him more at centre-back, but I just don't think it makes much difference, Hole. But I don't actually think Dyer played that badly, to be fair to him, in this game. I don't think defensively we were that bad. But, yeah, I think the lack of game time for Rodon, though, we do need to look at it, because if we're not playing him, I don't see the reason in keeping him. We should have just got another top centre-back and sold him, because he's not getting the game time, is he?
No, he's not. That's the sad thing, like you said. Where, like, what would that make? Would that make a difference? I don't really think it would. But again, John's just thrown it out there because at the moment nothing seems to be really working. The King, I know you're an Arsenal fan.
Oh
right
God!
Now, no. I don't think we're getting European football. Brian's in the house. Hello, Brian. Yeah, we all know Levy is the parasite. Love you, Brian.
He is.
Yesterday, Dyer was best match of the season. I agree. Rodon would be a better fit for Romero. Rodon would be a good balance to Romero's aggressive nature. I mean, true. I think the biggest issue for me is obviously it's all of our issues. Is Dyer has a mistake in him. Would Rodon? I don't know. He's young, but who knows? But obviously, going back to that West Ham game, I think the thing that really ticked me off was obviously the fact that there was no shots in the second half. I think that's the thing that has stuck with me throughout the whole of today, is to think that we're playing West Ham, we're 1-0 down, and there's no urgency to go forward. I mean, I know we spoke about Nuno's tactics, but is it the lack of service to Harry Kane, or do you just think Harry Kane's he's not with it? Because I think he did have an attempt on goal where I think Reggie crossed the ball in and he headed it, but it was straight at the keeper.
I think it's a bit of both. I think Kane doesn't want to be here. He's unmotivated. Therefore, naturally, his performance levels are going to drop. I think we have a massive creativity issue. I will keep singing it to the cows come home. We need a creative spark in this team. But I also think not having any shots in the second half, and that's the third time this season I'm hearing. I think I saw a stat. It's the third time we've had no shots in the second half. That is not good enough. I know we're not the best side in the league, but we're better than that. Come on. We have Harry Kane. We have Son. We've got more. We still have players that can create something at least. And Ndombele, to have no shots. Like, do you know how crazy that is? No shots. So for me, Nuno's got to take accountability for that. I'm sorry. What is he saying to the players at half time? Because for me, I thought the first half was poor. I don't think it was an entertaining game of football, from both teams, by the way. So you go into that second half, tell the players, listen, we're still in this game, lads. It's 0-0. Go out there in that second half, show some grit, show some desire, and just go for it. It's like he told them to just be walking shadows. Like, what messages are going on in that dressing room? I don't understand it, Hollie. I genuinely don't. Like, it's a derby. Turn up.
And that's the thing, but we had this discussion as well in the Arsenal North London derby. We said it shouldn't take a manager to motivate you to perform well, and they all know what it means. They've all been at this club long enough because it's all stale. Do you know what I mean? I just don't understand, like you said, what is going on in that dressing room. Obviously, we've spoken about Nuno. I just think he's a bit of a wet lettuce at the moment. The fact that he can't seem to obviously be able to motivate that team when they're off the pitch at half time. I don't understand. Do you think, like you said, he'd say something to get their gears going? I just don't understand.
I mean, with Nuno, you could also argue, I just think his body language at times worries me. Like, he just sits there on the side. And don't get me wrong, like, it depends on preference. Some people don't like managers that are quite animated and like to give out instructions on the pitch. But for me, I personally like to see that. You know, I want to see my manager get a bit frustrated with players, telling players, you know, press, you know, do something. He's just sitting there twiddling his thumbs and he just looks like he's given up. So I don't know if his energy is almost reflecting onto the players. I don't know. I just, for me, I've seen a lot of interviews now from Nuno, and I just think he doesn't believe he can do it. I don't think he believes he can take us forward. And really, if you're a player, you need to look to your manager for inspiration. And I just don't think Nuno is very inspiring. I'll be honest. If I was a player and I saw Nuno, I wouldn't be I wouldn't be that excited. I wouldn't. I just wouldn't. But that's just me.
Right, that's a fair shout. Like you said, I mean, I think Patricia has more animation than Nuno at the moment, and that's quite right in itself. The fact that man gets more elevated, and actually, in actual fact, the other bald egg that sits next to him, Hitchin, he's a bit more animated than Nuno.
Oh
at the
my
moment,
God! I mean, what is that all
I'd never
about?
ever say.
Them
I mean,
two
Jason Reed there, he says that.
Yeah, this is it, 100%. What's the pattern of play? Because you know what, with Jose Mourinho, as much as I wasn't his biggest fan, I think that's clear. I knew what the plan was with Jose. You knew we were going to soak up the pressure and hit teams on the counter. That's what we did. And when we scored, we'd shut up shop. What is the style of play under Nuno? Someone please tell me. I don't know what it is, Hollie. What is it? Are we trying to be a City and dominate possession? Definitely not. Are we trying to hit teams on the counter attack? I haven't seen any of it. So what are we trying to do? That's the thing that worries me. I just think with Poch, I'll admit, Poch was on very thin ice when he came to Spurs. But we saw what he was trying to do. We saw what he was trying to implement. With Nuno, I genuinely, Hollie, I don't know what he's doing. Unless someone can tell me, but I can't see it. I don't know. So I agree with Jason on that one. Can you hear me, Hollie? Is there a bit of a delay? I don't think she can hear me.
Oh, she gone. Oh no, I don't know if she's lagging for you guys, but I'm trying to work out what she's saying. Let me know if it's lagging for you. So I don't know when my internet's hella bad or what, but yeah, my internet must be just as good as how well we perform on the pitch. Hello, mate.
Hiya, sorry. Can you hear me?
Oh no, today. Hey, she's back.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's my internet then. It's my internet.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? Because I was speaking for ages. I was thinking, Hollie, like, are you there?
No, it's my internet. It's like the talk. It's not your internet, it's mine.
Oh my God. I was like, Hollie, like, answer me. Wake up, literally. Wake up,
literally, my net is just as bad as Tottenham, man. That's what I'm saying. Hella bad.
I was literally like, Hollie, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? And you were just like, you're sitting there. Oh dear.
Oh dear. Well, at least people can hear what you're saying, even if I think you're talking like a robot, because it's my internet, so it's all good.
Right.
I mean, I sort of knew what you were saying about Poch in the sense that you could actually see what Poch was trying to do.
Yeah.
Whereas with Nuno, you ain't got a bloody clue.
Not a Scooby.
So it's really difficult. I mean, the thing that really irritated me was obviously because the dynamic of Højbjerg and Skip, I think, works really well. Yesterday, it just wasn't working because there was no attacking force. I don't really know what to make of it. Do you think that's partly because it just didn't work against West Ham, or do you think, like we've already spoken about, that the players just weren't up for it?
Yeah, I just think players aren't up for it. I don't know what it is. I feel like a lot of players are just so cautious. Like even Skip for Norwich, like he does have a good pass in him, and so does Højbjerg, but I don't know why. Like players just don't want to take risks on the ball. They don't want to do certain things, and like I just think it's a coaching issue at the minute. Because I do believe Skip is a good player, but there is a part of me that thinks he isn't the answer. He's still very young. But we definitely need to address the creativity for me in that midfield. It's a bit of a concern. I mean, and Ndombele, I actually thought he played quite well yesterday. But again, you know, when you come up against a half-decent team, the realities start to creep in that, you know, is it that we're not good enough, or is it that Nuno's making us not look good enough against certain teams? Because I'm not being funny. We've played Man City, we've played Chelsea. They're games where I don't actually expect much from the game. Like I think we can accept a loss or at least get a draw. But Crystal Palace to lose 3-0, Arsenal, who we've said are so poor, 3-1. And then this West Ham game, it's like, come on. Like, are we that bad? I don't know. Are we? I don't think we are. I think we could have performed a lot better, but something isn't clicking. It's just not clicking.
No, it's really not. And that's the worrying thing. And obviously, I feel like Ndombele's really coming on his own now. I mean, we've waited a bloody long time for that to happen, but it's finally happening. And then all of a sudden it's gone kaput again. I just don't understand what it is. The consistency, the desire just isn't there after time. It's so strange. Like you said, maybe it is something Nuno's saying. Maybe, like we said for many years, maybe the top dogs at the club that own the club are filtering down this negative energy. I mean, you look at the NFL the other week. Don't get me wrong, I like NFL. I'm getting into it. But I feel like more emphasis is put on those kind of events and obviously the boxing and things. I mean, who knows? Maybe when COVID wasn't a thing, we might have seen the repercussions of that being put back into the football side of things. But I just don't think it's their main priority anymore. And maybe Nuno feels that. Maybe the likes of the players feel that as well.
Possibly. I mean, it's interesting you say that. Look, I'm all for the stadium. I'm all for NFL. I'm all for Lady Gaga concert, whatever it is. But if the money isn't going to go into the team, I'm sorry, take your stadium back. Take it back. I don't want it. I don't want any stadium. But I need to see that revenue getting spent on the right players as well, because we might actually spend money, but is it going to be on the right players? Because for me, we didn't get the right players in this transfer window. I love Gil, don't get me wrong. I think he's great. I like that youngster, the look of him that we signed. He's out on loan again. Can't remember his name. His name escapes me. I do think Romero's a good signing, but let's be honest, I think we needed a lot more, personally. We needed to get a backup striker. You're telling me we couldn't get an Edward who's gone to Crystal Palace, who's balling out 15 million he was going for. We couldn't get a Danny Ings. Come on. Like, it's just, yeah, I don't know. It's worrying. I'd love to actually sit down with Daniel Levy and ask him, where do you honestly see the future of Tottenham? Because if his ambition is top four, and if he thinks that's acceptable, do you know how far away we are from top? We are 1 billion miles off top four. Man City, Chelsea, and Liverpool. I mean, we're not even close. And Man United, okay, they'll say Ollie Tax. They've got a better squad. They've got good players. I think the minute they get a good manager, they're 1 million miles ahead of us. How on earth are we going to get back into the top four? Like, we're not even a top six club right now. I'll be honest. I think the way we're playing, as I said, I'd love to have a conversation with Daniel Levy. I probably wouldn't get much out of him, but where do we see this club going? Because at the minute, I worry about Spurs going forward. I actually think we're not improving. We're getting worse. I think this season we're just getting worse game by game. I'm not seeing any improvement. So where do we go from here is the question. I don't know.
If there is a bit of improvement, it lasts for a game.
Exactly.
That's the thing. If there is a bit of improvement, it literally lasts a game and then we hit rock bottom again. Like, that's what I mean. It's just so frustrating and it happens to us.
I was going to say that I wasn't confident for this game because I knew, we'd get a win against Newcastle, easy opposition. And the minute we come up against a half-decent side, I knew we weren't going to win. And it's sad that I have to think that way, but I just knew it. We all knew it. Let's be honest. We all knew it.
That's a sad thing. I mean, I try to be optimistic, but there's no bloody points, and it just crushes you when it happens. Like, and the thing I think that really ticks me off as well, we need to remember that after these players were rested, I think all of them were rested pretty much in the week game when we lost in the Conference League. And some of the players that played for West Ham, they were pretty much involved in their midweek fixture. So that just shows how much of a disappointment as well it is.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, thank goodness I missed that game. I was out doing other things.
Frozen again.
Have you frozen? Are you back? You back, Hollie?
Why isn't it a mess?
Can you hear me?
Am I back?
Are you back?
Am I back? Oh, my internet. Yeah, I can. Back? My internet's a mess, man. An absolute mess.
What is going on with people's internet today? Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, Nuno was an idiot basically for not starting some of the senior players because I don't know. For me, I sometimes think rest ain't good for us. I think we need to be playing, but you'd think that you've got fresh legs in there, show some energy. And like you said, West Ham, they played in midweek and they had loads of energy. I mean, as I said, they weren't great, but they showed some desire. They showed some urgency. Where's our urgency? Absolutely non-existent. Non-existent. Are you back, Hollie? She's not back, is she? Oh, people, our internet.
100%. Honestly, it's like I don't even know what's going on. Everybody else can say it's working fine. For me, it's like you're a robot. And then
I
I
know.
freeze, then you freeze, and I'm trying to work it
Honestly,
out.
you're
Literally,
not
it's that
freezing for me. I finish what I'm saying, and then you're still like, and I'm like, she's probably like at the beginning of what I just said.
Literally, this is how Tottenham play, man. It's just like there's like a
Honestly.
delay in every
I
pass and
know.
in every shot.
Honestly,
Oh,
I'm
dear.
telling you,
But
it's like you're
at
on a
least
connection.
At least everybody else can see this fine, so it's all right. It's just us having a mare, or me having a mare, pretty much.
I think it's you.
Oh my god, I'm going to pick this up. Emerson Royal is learning from Winks.
Oh, no.
He is teaching him to pass sideways with no end product. It's actually, I mean, Harry Winks currently has a bag on his head. That bag is never coming off, by
God,
the way.
you just throw
But
it away.
It is
girl.
interesting that Darren says this, because I found out my mum was saying it the whole game. The whole game, my mum was going, "Oh my god, Emerson, just go forward. Why are you not going forward?" And then he passes it back. If my mum is seeing that and she don't got a clue about football, really. So if she's saying that, it just gives you a worrying stance on things.
Do you know what? I don't want to be critical of Emerson, but I mean, so far it's not.
Mate, this internet.
Oh, can you not hear me again? Oh, she can't hear me again. But to people watching, I'm not convinced by Emerson at all. I don't think he's good going forward from what I've seen, and it's not exciting. And I think we spent a lot of money on him, but as I said, I don't want to be too critical of him. It's early doors. We still need to see a bit more from him for me to have a full judgment. But at the minute, not that convinced. But I will say we did not use. Emerson doesn't pose a threat. Yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't pose a threat. He doesn't. I don't know what he poses at the minute. Do something, like your mum was saying. You know, go forward. Do something. I don't know. It's just a bit safe. It's all very safe. Yeah, going back. I mean, that's another thing. As I said, I spoke on this in the beginning. Like the way we progress the ball, it's like there's no quick passing. There's no one-touch pass. Like some of what we saw in the last game against Newcastle, that's what got us the goal. Why are we not playing like that every game? I don't understand it. I genuinely don't understand it. Like, is it that psychologically we just think, oh my God, we've come up against a tough team, we can't do it, we have to go into our shells? What is it? Because if it is a psychological thing, Nuno needs to get that out of them quickly, because I just think play to our strengths. We can do it. We can do it. So do it. Oh gosh, I'm lagging again. Am I lagging again? Wrong mushrooms. Hollie! Oh guys, she's frozen again. Bring back Aurier. I don't know about Aurier.
Am I frozen again?
Yeah, you're back. You're back.
Fuck's sake, man.
Do you know what it is?
A bad one for me.
You don't freeze.
Honestly.
You don't freeze.
This?
I'm just talking. Oh, wait.
If you can still hear me, Tans, I don't want Darren. I hope you're fully joking right now. Like that's a no.
No, absolutely no way.
Are you back? Are you not back? Oh my God. It's internet. It's because I can hear Mother downstairs in the kitchen farting about. She's probably interfering with the Wi-Fi.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? You back?
On my screen, freeze. And then I can't hear nothing.
See, you don't freeze for me. You're there, but it's like you're not listening to me. So I'm like, okay. So I was just started talking to the listeners, but...
No, honestly, in my ear roll, it's like you're a robot. And then your screen freezes. And then I'm like, oh shit, she's still talking? And I look like I'm still interested. So the point
I wonder if it's me. Do you think it's me? It might be Wi-Fi.
No, I think it's me. I generally think it's me. I mean, you're not lagging, so it's defo me.
Right. It's not me then.
Frozen like our defence for the goal. Brilliant.
Absolutely. Spot on.
Oh, but no, I don't know whether you said anything about this comment, because obviously for me you were frozen. But I hope Darren is joking.
Darren, he has to be joking. I mean, look, I had a love-hate relationship with Aurier because when you look back on it now, I just think if he actually got rid of the mistakes, that was the main concern with him. He just made too many mistakes that would cost us a game. He'd give away a penalty. He'd make rash challenges. But actually, going forward, he was actually quite decent. You know, he would get a couple goals, couple assists. I thought he was okay defensively at times, although he did make mistakes. That's not what you want from a defender. But if he had just got rid of those tendencies in him, I actually think he probably would have been, you know, decent for us. Because under Jose, in the early stages of, was it last season or the season before, we were actually winning and we were top for a bit. He was great.
It was good.
Not consistent enough for me. Had to let him
No,
go.
that's the thing. I just worried he'd kebab people. Do you know what I mean? Like, someone would run in the box, he'd 2-foot him. Like, it's frustrating. But it's good to know Darren was joking.
Just having a laugh.
Man no balls knows your... man knows balls, man knows football.
Man knows football.
Fuck's sake. You're going to blame that on the leg.
Hollie. What's going on over there? Yeah, but my voice notes, listen. Oh, it's Spurs. They stress me out. I ain't done a rant in a while, but I thought, no, I can't let this one go. I was just getting... And the thing is, with this one, the one I put out from this game, I did it in real time when the match was still on. And I was like, no, why are you bringing on Gil? And this is also in the 83rd minute.
Oh, dear.
I mean, can we talk about that as well? I'm sorry, but I need to speak about Nuno because I am towards... I don't want to say it, but Nuno out. I am leaning towards it because these awful statistics of us not creating anything in the second half of matches. We do you know what the aggregate score is for the London derbies? 10-1. We've conceded 10 goals, scored 1. That is, I'm sorry, it's not good. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. The way that we're performing as well, players look unmotivated, don't know like they're playing for him. And the lack of substitutions. I'm sorry, that game for me, it needed changes. And I understand because you look at the bench, barring Brian Hill is so uninspiring. Like Dele, what's he going to give us? When we saw his performance in midweek, absolutely shocking. Bergwijn, shocking. I understand his hands are kind of tied in that sense, but you just got to take the risk and change things. You don't change things after being 1-0 down and give players like 10 minutes to impact the game. And then he brought on Bergwijn in the 90-something minute. What's that about? So you're trying to run down the clock when we're losing the game.
That's the thing. It's just no urgent. It's just no like. I think it's bravery and confidence. It's just because you think, what is that person going to make? I think it was like, was it that 82nd minute or something he brought? Yeah. You think yourself, why are you bringing him on at this time? It's not going to make an impact. We've been 1-0 down for like God knows how long, and now you're deciding to do something.
But it's the comment, it's his justification for doing that as well that's really annoyed me this week. He come out and said that, he didn't feel like the changes were needed because we were in control of the game. I'm sorry, what game are you watching? What game are you watching? We needed to make changes. And you didn't. Well, you did, but too late. And I've seen that too many times now from Nuno. I thought he would have learned from his mistakes. Because I'd like to think I'm quite reasonable. I do want to give managers time. But if you're continuously making the same errors, what am I supposed to think? Am I supposed to have faith in you? I don't have any faith in him at the minute. The guy is deluded.
That is the thing. I mean, we keep saying the fact, okay, we want Nuno gone, fair enough, but we're also starting to think, who the bloody hell's going to come in? Do you know what I mean? We missed our chance to get Conte, but I don't think he would have even have come if Levy decided to part ways with a couple of extra people coming in to help him and some extra money. So it's just a tough one. I mean, Adam as well, he said about obviously nothing will change till Ennett go. That is very true. We're not discrediting that, but I also feel like I just don't know how many more times we can sit through the same crap of Nuno not bringing on players at the right time. I mean, Daniel said give Nuno some time. I mean, Tanya's already gone, man. She wants him gone.
From what I'm seeing so far, I just think with Nuno, I'm not seeing him improve as a manager. Like the games, we're getting worse. And it's a difficult one because I do think players need to take responsibility as well. We know this. We know players need to step up. Like I said, Son, You know, I love Son, but where was he in that game? The whole team was poor, though. That's the thing. The whole team was poor. But
Yeah.
I do think you also need to look to the manager for that as well. I know we said they shouldn't look to the manager as such when it comes to these big games. You should already be geared up for it. But there's obviously a reason why they're not motivated. And I genuinely think it looks like a team already, for me, that are down tools in that don't want to play for the manager. There's got to be a reason for that. I mean, there have been like a couple of reports that, you know, apparently there's a couple of players that don't like Nuno. And don't get me wrong, these players, you know, you didn't like Poch's training, you didn't like Jose's training, now you don't like Nuno. I mean, suck it up. But also, you know, is he just a manager that isn't quite gelling with the players? I don't know. But as I said, it's inexcusable the way we're playing. No shots in the second half. No shots. That is terrible.
Just highlights, doesn't it, really, the fact that it's not getting better, it's getting worse. I mean, it's not difficult to have a couple of shots on goal in the second half. Do you know what I mean? Like, 0 is inexcusable.
0 in the whole 45-minute game. Do you know how much can happen in a 45-minute game? And you're not having a shot. Great, I'm sorry. Unforgivable. It's unforgivable.
I mean, Crocodocs. I hope I haven't butchered that.
Crocodocs.
Call it now. Nuno's gone before Christmas. Mason comes in and has a bit of a run, and Levy decides to give it to him until the end of the season. Ole 2.0, just worse. Oh my lord, no.
Do you know what? I can see that happening. I think, especially the first part of that statement. I think Nuno is on thin ice for me, and I actually can see him going before Christmas. Who have we got? We've got Man United next.
Well, we'll get onto it, but we've got Burnley midweek as well. Yeah,
Burnley. I mean, if we lose to Burnley, I'm sorry. Like, he is under pressure for me. He has to be because I also heard that he's not going to be an expense. So Levy would be inclined to sack him if it doesn't affect his pocket. We know that. But if we're bringing in Ryan Mason, good Lord. Good Lord. Lord, help us. Please.
Honestly. Oh no, I don't want to see this again. No, because that's definitely what happened in the cup.
He already does pick the lineup. I'm convinced. I think he's only now seen the light with Dele Alli, for goodness sake. I mean, why was he playing all these games? To be honest, I think at some point we'll see Levy in the dugout. I do. I think one day he's going to be like, do you know what? I'm just going to manage the team myself. Honestly, I can see it.
Mate, please don't. Are we getting that poster everywhere?
Oh, God.
I'll be everywhere. Oh, mate, it's just... I mean, we'll get onto it. Obviously, we've got Burnley on Wednesday in the EFL Cup. I really don't want to go out of it because, obviously, I think we're all starved of a cup. But I'm also thinking under Nuno tactics, the fact that he decided to rest the whole team in the Conference League to then play a well-fit team against West Ham to lose, I'm not really confident. So I'll throw it to you, Tans. How are you feeling?
I mean, you say that we're starved of a cup. I think we're famished. We are famished. We need a trophy. I mean, we say this every single season and it doesn't happen, but we need a trophy. Okay. So it's important that we get through to the next round. I don't want to be kicked out of the FA Cup. Not the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, EFL Cup, whatever it's called now. We need to stay in these competitions. And if you're a manager like Nuno, who is a bit under pressure at the minute, that could be a lifeline for him if we go further in that competition. But you're right. I don't know what he does in terms of team selection. Does he go with the same team that played against West Ham? Does he try and inject some youngsters? Can we afford to play youngsters right now? I honestly don't know. I really don't know. But if I'm feeling confident, I have to say I don't. I'll be honest. I just think we're looking like a team low in confidence, and the only way is down for us right now. I just can't see things getting better. That's just me being brutally honest. But I do hope that we win and get through to the next round.
That's the thing. I think we just need a bit of confidence. Like we said, we've just lost 1-0 away from home against West Ham, put in a very dismal performance. To then obviously play Burnley, to lose that, to be out of a cup, to then play Man United that will be high on all cylinders because they've obviously got battered at home against Liverpool. I mean, Scott here says, which competition do you think would be easier to win, the EFL or the Conference League? I'll throw it to you first, Hans.
I mean, with us, it's never easy to win anything, is it? So I think they're both as bad as each other. Do you know what? Probably, because the way I see EFL Cup, it's just a one-off game, isn't it? Anything can happen. Conference League is a bit longer, but when you're looking at the teams in the Conference League, you have to say Conference League, because EFL Cup, the further you get into it, you're going to come up against big boys, and we've seen we can't even compete against those teams. But you're looking at the Conference League, the teams that we've come up against, which, let's be honest, we should be beating them comfortably, but we can't. The only decent teams, Roma, really? You have to say Roma and Spurs are the favourites. So Conference League's probably the easier, but we're not making it easy for us at the minute. Because are we not? We're third in our group, aren't we? We're third.
Yeah, we're near the bottom.
Good gracious.
We're saying the Conference League will be easier, we're near the bottom.
So, yeah, in that case, probably EFL Cup. As I said, I'll go with Conference League, but we're third from the bottom.
I think that's the thing. We're kind of, I don't know how to word this. We're kind of saying the Conference League will be easier because of the competition we're coming up against. But these guys want it more than us, it seems. I think anybody wants us more than us at the moment. I think mentality, I mean, we talk about mentality all the time with Tottenham, but I think that is a massive factor at the moment, because you say, like, Son, Kane, where are they? What are they doing? Their mentality isn't in the game at the moment. And it's shown that even in the Conference League, we seem to not be able to do it. Even when we're playing the young squad, the B team, shall we say, but there's a far more amount of quality in our B team than there is teams we're playing. I think it's, again, another massive embarrassment.
No, it is. But you know what? I just think players don't take the competition seriously. And that for me annoys me, because, yeah, you can say it's not Europa League, it's not Champions League, it's like literally third best equivalent of a Champions, Europa League, whatever. So I can understand, but we need a trophy. This is Tottenham Hotspur. We need a trophy. It's still a European trophy. Be geared up for it. Be up for it. Especially that B team. I'm sorry, they should be ashamed of themselves, some of those players, because you're not players that play week in, week out. That could be your opportunity to try and push for a starting place, and they still serve up a load of rubbish. So, as I said, I do feel for Nuno in that sense, because it's like the starting 11 aren't motivated, and then you look to this B team, they're not good enough. Can you imagine if we play that B team against a Man United or against other teams like Winks, Delhi, Bergwijn? Oh, God.
The list just goes on and on and on. I mean, I've fully washed my hands of Winks. Brian said
you haven't got rid of the doubt. You haven't got rid of the. I mean, just burn it.
I know, I'm debating it, but Brian said last week, "Why on earth have you got a star bag on his head?" I was like, it's the first one I got to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Stars, Harry Winks doesn't really correlate, does it?
No, it doesn't really. That was a bad form by me. But anyway, oh no, what's Caller said? I'm so glad Winks has a bag on his head tonight, Hollie. Caller, he's had a bag on his head for about 5 weeks, mate. Late to the party, son. But that being said, obviously, I hope we can beat Burnley. It would be lovely to, just to get some confidence up and actually to make midweek quite nice. But we do have Manchester United at the weekend. Now, obviously, Pogba is out because he obviously got red carded after having a 15-minute cameo, which was delightful to see. So that being said, do you think we stand a chance against Ole if he is still in the driving seat at the bus?
For me, I've seen so many funny quotes. Like, I think I've seen this will be the El Sakiko or something, which is just hilarious. I mean, both managers, you have to say, are under pressure, especially Ole Gunnar Solskjaer after that result yesterday. But listen, Ole tax, I don't care. I just know they're not going to serve up what they played yesterday. They're going to want to prove themselves. This is Manchester United. I mean, it's funny how they lose a game and like the cameras on the fans leaving. They do interviews with fans after. They're Manchester United. There's a lot of scrutiny. Like, they're a big club. They're not going to perform how they did against us. And we're going to struggle. I know we're going to struggle because Man United still have that individual brilliance. We've seen that all season. They've played not the best, but it's individual brilliance that's bailed Ole out a lot of times. And obviously they've come up against Liverpool, a decent side, and that individual brilliance, it didn't pay off in the end. It kind of ran out because they've come up against a team that is so good. But are we good right now? Are we going to be a test for them? Absolutely not. We're Dr. Spurs. We'll sort them right out. Don't you worry. So for me, I hope we can win, but I'm not confident we will. I'll be honest. I just think Man United squad, if it's not going well, they've got the players to change it, and I just don't think we're good at the moment to win. Maybe a draw. I don't know.
Daniel has thrown out the draw. I mean, for me, I it sounds really bad, but I'd take that, to be honest. At this stage, I'd actually take a draw. That sounds really depressing to say it, but like you said, we don't really have. Although I think both teams are pretty much disjointed at the moment, but like you said, they have got a lot more firepower over us. Yes, we've got Kane and Son, but you look at Ronaldo, you look at all the other players, and you just think to yourself, "Oh, okay, come on, something's going to give it." I don't think we're going to give a good fight against them.
And that's the thing, like, we say we've got Kane and Son, but it's not, they're not firing Kane and Son. You know, they're not the Kane and Son that had the great partnership last season. And I don't know, for me, the chemistry, it looks like it's faded for me. I don't know what it is. I just, it's going to be natural for that to happen because Kane doesn't want to be here. And I just think, we don't know what goes on behind closed doors, but Son and a lot of the players are probably thinking, you don't want to be here, mate. Like, why do I want to play with someone that doesn't buy into, well, I can't blame him for buying into whatever we're trying to do at Spurs, but do you see what I'm saying? So I don't, if you're a Man United, are you really looking at Spurs thinking this is going to be a tough game for us? The only thing defensively, Man United look all over the place. So I want to see us create chances. That needs to improve. Us creating chances, us getting at teams. I think we could get at United. They definitely we can get at them, but it's just, will we be instructed to do that by Nuno? We'll have to see. We'll have to see.
I don't have that faith, to be honest. I mean, Adam said drop Kane and we will win. I mean, lots of people have been calling for Kane to be dropped, but then you think to yourself, who on earth do you play up there? Yes, you could play Sonny as a striker, but I'm always against playing someone out of their natural position just because it doesn't work. I just don't think it's the thing to do. So that means that who on earth do you don't put Dane Scarlett up there, do you? It's just ridiculous.
No.
It's such, and this is the thing, like we went to back earlier, we said about obviously how we haven't got that second striker, and again it's coming to bite us on the bum. How many more times do we have to keep saying the same thing for it finally for the penny to drop? I mean, the same with Crocodile. I love that name. Crocodiles. Do you guys think this season will be the straw that breaks the camel's back in regard to the fan base turn on Levy and Edic?
No, because there's still, honestly, there's still fans out there that don't see Nick as an issue at all, or Daniel Levy. They absolutely love Daniel Levy. So unfortunately, I don't see it, but I don't know how you can't look at them and question them, because this is there's issues with Poch, there's issues with Jose, there's issues with Nuno. Come on, like it is way beyond managers and players for me. We know they're an issue, but I just don't see us as fans getting together like a Manchester United and protesting and making our voices heard. I don't see us doing it. I just don't think the fan base is united on that front when it comes to Levy and Enoch. I just still think there's a lot of division. A lot of people don't quite agree. And I'd love for us to get to that point. I'd love for us to get taken over like Newcastle, but what can we say? Time will tell. I mean, if we do finish, I mean, at the minute, we could finish, I don't know, outside the top 6. I do think fans might start to turn. They might start to think, hang on a minute, like, this is terrible. Like, we are not going in the right direction here. We are miles away from top 4, even top 6. Maybe fans might start to wake up. That's the thing. We have to see how the season goes for me. But
yeah, that's the thing. I think, like you said, I think we're just all disconjointed. I think everybody's either sitting on the fence or haven't really made their mind up. And I think the only thing that maybe stops me sometimes from wanting new owners is obviously the fear of the unknown. But I'm also thinking to myself, it can't get any worse than this, surely.
Can't get any worse.
It's just, it's just the fact that I've seen one cup in my lifetime, and no, that isn't the Audi Cup. It's the League Cup, obviously, that we won. And it's just, people always come to me with the argument of, oh, well, you were never here in the Sir Alan days. No, I wasn't, but I want more from my club. Right now, I'm not getting what I want from my club, but that's a whole nother discussion in itself. But it's just a tough one. I mean, I'll get your score predictions for Saturday, and then we'll go from there. Sorry I had to do it to you, mate.
I really want to be hopeful. and say that we can get a result. But from what I'm seeing, I just... And the thing is, I should think we should get something from the game, because Manchester United, like, they're looking poor at the minute. But I honestly don't think they're going to perform that badly against us. This is their chance to prove to your Gary Nevilles or Paul Scholes. I mean, he's too busy eating toast, but anyway, that they do want to play for Ollie, and they do want to stick by Ollie. So for me, I'm not gonna lie to you, I think it will be a 2-1 United. I just don't see us. I don't see us turning up. I just don't. I mean, we haven't looked great these past couple of games, low in confidence. I think 2-1 United, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to sit with you as well on that one. I think it is at White Hart Lane, so hopefully the fans kind of show that they're ticked off in that kind of sense. I hope we're very vocal about that, and in a sense, I hope we do get behind them as well. Because I don't know what's going to give. I don't know what's going to be better. I'm not slagging them off, but giving a bit of jip or getting behind. It's just so difficult at the moment to really understand. It's just complicated. We said this all the way through during the summer transfer window. The fact that this club is just an utter mess. You look at the manager, or you look at the players, or you blame the board. Like, it's rotten throughout, and it's just such a shame.
Definitely. But yeah, I just want us to turn up. Like, these are simple things, and we're not doing it. And if we can't get up for a derby, I doubt we're going to be up for a game against Manchester United. I mean, they're not really big rivals to us, are they? But I don't know, maybe they might think, oh, Ronaldo's here, I might want to step up my game. Who knows? But the thing about us even playing at home, it's like, it don't even matter if we're playing at home. Like, I've seen us, perform terrible at home. So it doesn't make any difference for me. It really doesn't. Does Nuno also change the lineup? If so, what personnel does he bring in? What players? It is a mess. 100%, it's a mess. I guess you wouldn't want to be Nuno, would you? What would you do if you're Nuno?
Walk.
Yeah, get out of there.
I wouldn't have joined in the first place. It's a death sentence.
Honestly.
But just to John, I haven't got a clue. My internet is on a mad one. It's only decided to now work when the show's nearly finished.
I know.
But, you can probably fix it. Oh, no, honestly, I blame Talk and my mother messing about in the kitchen near the Wi-Fi router. But there we go. I want to say thank you to everyone that's tuned in. Thank you for Tans for joining me, even though it was just me and you. And we had a bit.
I know it did feel like it was just me, but I was, it's all good. It's all good.
I'm gonna write a complaint to Talk. It's all good. I'll write a complaint to them. But where can everybody find you doing your things, Tans?
Yeah, you just catch me on Twitter. Twitter handle was on the screen. It's gone now, but it was
Sugar. There you go.
We go. Yeah, Tanya_Leona on Twitter. Catch me on Never a Foul Views from the Skywalk Tottenham show. And yeah, catch me on the Football Terrace occasionally, Midnight Vibes. And yeah, I'm here, there, and everywhere. I haven't actually been on YouTube in a while. I want to get back into it. So yeah, but you can find me here, there, and everywhere.
Well, I appreciate it, Tans. Like I said, it was a bit of a last minute kind of, not cop out, but like, you know how it is, these things, life gets in the way.
I feel good. I feel like I've got a lot off my chest. I feel refreshed after that.
It's quite good. It's a good therapy session. That's what I mean. I try to always do them every game just so you can have a bit of a therapy session. But I also want to say thanks to everyone in the chat. Like I say, I'm getting a bit better at picking up people's comments. If you're new, make sure you like and subscribe. Hollie's Hotspurs Live is every Monday at 7 p.m. Unless it's getting to the Christmas period now, so there might be not as many, considering there's so many games thick and fast. But appreciate everybody for tuning in, and until next time, see you next Monday. Come on, you Spurs!
Woo!